it's been a dreary month. It's been a really dreary month. Um, I mean, that's how January usually is. Because if these movies were any good, they would have saved them for the holiday season or pushed them back to February. Because so far this month, I've seen the Grudge remake or sequel, soft reboot. I was a little confused, ladies and gentlemen. When looking back at that, and then we had Doolittle, which I mean, it might distract a 2-year-old for a little bit, but I don't even think kids would even like that movie. But either one of those films was really hard to get through. And yeah, so I was really hoping this final film would change things up because, well, I kind of needed it. I really kind of needed it after those other two films. And by the way, if you do want to check out my review of The Grudge or my review of Doolittle, please head over to the P.O. Vincent YouTube channel and subscribe there to catch more videos and reviews, as I will start putting out more content over there instead of putting it in the weekly podcast live stream. But anyway, let's get on to it. It's time for a review of Guy Ritchie's new gangster film, The Gentleman. So this film is directed by Guy Ritchie, who, British director. We do a lot of stuff. He did the two Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr., who's like, oh man, that Robert Downey Jr. movie is a lot better than than Doolittle. Holy crap. But he's done a lot of things. The last movie Guy Ritchie did was Disney's Aladdin. It was kind of an interesting choice when they brought him on to do that project. But he's done a bunch of other stuff. Like, I think the movie that people usually look fondly back on him was, like, one of his earliest directorial debuts was Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, which it was a similar movie, British gangster film, people getting in over their head about stuff, those sort of things. So could he make a good movie after? I mean, Aladdin was nice. I liked it, but I didn't like it a lot. And then the last movie before that was the King Arthur movie. He did King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, I think it was called. Bad movie because he tried to turn an Arthurian legend story into a gangster film. And that's totally what he was doing. You could tell, because they're all talking like modern day gangsters and the way their costumes were designed. And he did try to change the lore to make it fresh and new for a modern audience. Unfortunately, it just didn't work with King Arthur: Legend of the Sword. Did I review that movie for the podcast, or did that come out before I started the podcast? I can't remember. Either way, it's not a movie worth checking out. Now, as for The Gentleman, well, let's get into it. So we have a hell of a cast in this film. We've got Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam. We got Colin Farrell. We got Hugh Grant. I haven't seen Hugh Grant personally in a while. And we have a bunch of other good actors rounding out the cast. We got Michelle Dockery. We got Jeremy Strong. Good bunch of people in this film. So at very minimum, we're going to probably have some good performances as long as the script and obviously directing don't suck. But is it just about the actors? No, let's get into this. So Matthew McConaughey, there we go, plays Mickey Pearson. He's an American that lives in Britain, and he just happens to be a one of the biggest drug dealers in Britain. He has a unrivaled weed empire. He doesn't do heroin or any of the other stuff. Weed is his thing, and business is good. He is the top guy when it comes to getting illegal weed. His business not only has the most, but apparently it has the best. However, his character, he's kind of looking to retire, and he wants to sell the business so he can just kind of retire with his wife, played by Michelle Dockery, named Rosalind. And by doing so, he kind of gets into a whole bunch of things by trying to end his business. So a lot of the movie has to do with Charlie Hunnam, who plays Ray. Ray is Mickey's right-hand man. He is the guy that if it's not coming from Mickey, it's coming from Ray. This is where all the orders come from. And Ray, he's a very controlled guy. He's very forward, clean. Always takes the boss's orders. He's like when shit's going down, Ray is usually the one keeping his cool or keeping everything in order. He's like Oh god, he's like the ultimate badass secretary, and I hope that comes across as a compliment. I mean it. We also have Hugh Grant in the movie, who Hugh Grant plays Fletcher. Fletcher is like a private eye slash paparazzi type. He's paid by people to dig up dirt, take pictures, learn things that other people want to know that they can't normally find out. If you want to learn something about somebody, you hire Fletcher. He'll get the evidence. Like I said, those pictures, audio, whatever you need to know, whatever dirt you need to find on somebody, Fletcher will find it. And a lot of this movie is told through Fletcher's eyes, as he's kind of like the narrator because he's been investigating. He's been hired to investigate Mickey and several other people that have been involved with Mickey. So we're telling a lot of stories through Fletcher. And I gotta say, Hugh Grant, I loved him as Fletcher in this film. He is a ton of fun. He's this quirky, fun guy. Gay? I think he's gay in the. I'm 99% sure gay, unless it's just like a joke that he was throwing around. But he keeps like flirting with Charlie Hunnam. So if he's not gay, then I guess what you would call cheeky. I think that's the term I want to use. But if he's not gay, then I'm damn surprised. But anyway, yeah. So he's telling the whole series of events and going all over this, and he's narrating, and he's adding a little flair here and there. But the movie lets you know when it's the truth and when it's him. Yeah, and he has this, and he does all this because apparently he has a real passion for film. So him and we got something in common here. He's got this total passion for film, and so a lot of it, is told by him. And we've got so many players involved in this movie that it could be very easy to get a little confused because we've got Mickey Pearson, Matthew McConaughey's character trying to sell stuff. We've got Ray. We got Mickey's wife Rosalind. We have the character of Matthew, who's one of the people that Mickey is working with and trying to sell his business to. We have Colin Farrell's coach. Yeah, Colin Farrell's in this movie. He plays a bit of a minor character, but a cool character nonetheless. And then we have several other characters throughout, and there are times, including Henry Golding, who plays Dry Eye, who's a gangster from like a rival gangster family, who's definitely causing a lot of trouble in the film. So. Now, see, that sounds a little confusing, may sound a little confusing way to describe it because, well, yeah, there's a lot of people and a lot of moving parts going on because as this film unfolds, there's tons of twists and turns. Fortunately, I never felt really too confused. There's only maybe one or two moments that I felt a little confused at points in this film, but I think the movie makes pretty clear what's going on, and it reveals certain information at the right time to keep your attention, to keep you invested in the film. Like I said, there are a few times where it does get a little confusing, but everything becomes clear as time goes on. And, excuse me, and that's also one of the fun things about this film, all the twists and turns. Every time we get a little bit of information, it clears something up, but then it brings up a couple more questions. And, like I said, it works pretty well because I understood everything that was going on. And in the hands of a lesser writer or lesser director, things could get very confusing. But for the most part, yeah, Guy Ritchie pulled it off in directing here by making sure that I think the audience is on track with everything. Now, one of the things I really did enjoy about this film is like this film is cool when it's cool, it's fun when it's fun, and it's funny when it's funny. It's cool because of the great writing. Everybody talks, this British gangster speak. The C word comes up a lot in this film. So let me throw that out there. If anyone out there listening or watching has an issue with the C word, and you know which word I'm talking about, don't make me say it. This film that word comes up in this film quite a lot. But I think you should keep in mind that the C word in other countries does not have the same meaning association that it does in America. In America, it is the nastiest thing you can call a woman. But in other countries, it has nothing to do with women. It's just kind of their way of saying asshole or bastard or something of that nature. Now, if you once again, keep in mind how that word is interpreted in other countries. If that's still a problem with you, well then just giving you a heads up, comes up in this movie a lot. Hell, if you're a fan of comedian Jim Jeffries, it won't bother you at all. But yeah, no, the language is so colorful. There's all these amazing like little lines and stuff like. There's this one joke where like, oh my god, I want to tell you guys about it. I really do, but it's a spoiler, and it was one of the funniest jokes in the film. Matthew McConaughey freaking delivers that line. It's great. Okay, I'll say the joke involves a train. I'll say that the joke involves a train. Um, but yeah, no. And the great writing in this film. In fact, let me look at who wrote this film. Let me take a look at this real quick. Guy Ritchie's one of the writers. Did Scream? Okay, so yeah, Guy Ritchie directed and wrote, along with story by Ivan Atkinson and Marn Davies. Let me make sure I'm reading that correct. Marn Davies, yeah, okay. Who's worked with Guy Ritchie before on past films? Yeah. So the writing in this film is really great. Very colorful. Every once in a while, and this is just probably for me as an American, some of the accents every once in a while I couldn't quite understand what people were saying. Sometimes the accents got a little thick here and there, but nothing that ever made me go, oh, come on, just say something I can understand. No, never got that bad. Just a few little moments sprinkled out. But I'm sure if I went back and watched the movie, like, oh, that's what he said. Okay. But yeah, all these funny moments when they're not whipping out cool lines or whipping out fun lines or whipping out funny lines. This movie gets and that happens more and more as the movie goes on. It's just all this great stuff going on. Yeah. This movie does get violent at certain points. Obviously, it is a gangster film, but I don't feel it ever becomes a full bloodbath. In fact, some of the funny moments in the film are once again funny and kind of entertaining for what they are. It does get bloody. It does get kind of gruesome, so not overload. It's just like every bit of violence in the movie serves the purpose of the story. Nothing felt gratuitous or unneeded or just there to make you go, oh my god, they blew his brains out. Everything felt like it fit for the moment and what was happening, and it fit the character that it was going for. Except for maybe one moment, now that I think about it, that just seems like, oh, okay, I thought, all right, thought you guys learned your lesson, whatever, okay, but yeah, fucking it worked out, whatever. So yeah, there's only a few moments excuse me, that kind of went down like that. But yeah, so oh man, and I think those are this film just gets really enjoyable through so many parts. So it's a credit to Guy Ritchie and his team, and credit to the cast and crew. Matthew McConaughey is of course really good in this film because what they try to make. I will say this. Maybe the only thing I would develop a little bit more in the film is the relationship between Mickey and his wife Rosalind. Maybe only develop it a little bit more because it's made very clear that Mickey, that the most important thing to him is his wife. That he's got this huge gangster business, but he does take his wife seriously. He does love her and care about her. But I don't know. Maybe I think, but just. You show that through his actions, but maybe a little bit more time together because there's so many characters in this film, and they're all interesting or fun, and you get all their motives. You never misunderstand where someone's coming from. So yeah, goddamn enjoyable, just goddamn enjoyable. So would I recommend or would I not recommend? The Gentleman. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it's been a dreary January. The Grudge, Doolittle. Oh my God. But this film I can recommend. It is so much fun. I mean, and I wasn't in the theater alone. There were people, I was cracking up. The people on the other end of the row of me were cracking up. People down in like this, in the lower seating, they were cracking up. Everyone was having a good time. All the twists and turns were fun. There's maybe one extra twist I was like, I don't know if it's necessary, but I think it might be setting up for a sequel. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely something left by the end of the film that's not like that. Could lead into a sequel. And personally, if it did, I'd be down for it. I mean, I'd want to see like these characters come back. Some more stuff happening with them. See where this one little plot thread that's kind of left open will lead to, and all that stuff, and seeing Mickey in retirement or something like that. It'd be really, really, really interesting for me. I'd be down for it. Oh my God! So yeah, Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman, starring Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, Colin Farrell, Michelle Dockery, along with Jeremy Strong and Henry Golding. Yes, I give this movie the P.O. Vincent recommendation. Go check it out. I think you'll definitely have a very good time, unless once again you have an issue with the C word, because they throw that around like it's freaking Christmas. They're like, hey, C word for everybody, C word for you, C word for them. I don't know. Oh man. Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to see a full episode, I live stream every Thursday night on Facebook right after I see the movie, or you can tune in to the Revenge Online Radio Network every Friday morning at 9 a.m. If you enjoyed the show, please consider contributing to the Patreon, patreon.com/PO Vincent.